Between the ages of 35 and 45, the human body enters a critical decade. This is the window when peak skeletal muscle and bone mass naturally begin a sharp decline. Without intervention, functional muscle tissue undergoes myosteatosis. It is progressively replaced by fat. Instead of the clean, dense architecture of a flank steak, sedentary muscle begins to look like marbled Colby beef on an MRI. This visceral fat drives chronic systemic inflammation, which accelerates cellular aging. As the brain becomes resistant to glucose, a state often called type 3 diabetes, neurons are starved of energy, leading to a progressive loss of the epigenetic information that keeps your cells functional. To stop this decline and restore your cellular backup copy, you need a targeted plan. Today, we are going to build your personalized metabolic reversal blueprint. Grab a pen and paper. By mapping out your baseline chronotype, we will construct a concrete daily and weekly operating system that you can start executing tomorrow morning. Step 1 is establishing your daily timeline. Draw a horizontal line across your paper and mark your wake-up time based on your genetic chronotype, whether you're a morning lion or a solar-aligned bear. Immediately upon waking, you need pure water and 2 to 15 minutes of direct sunlight. This light exposure resets the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master circadian pacemaker in your brain. On your timeline, mark a 90-minute delay before your first coffee. This window allows your brain to naturally clear out adenosine, which helps you avoid an afternoon energy crash. Set a strict caffeine cutoff at 2 p.m. Adhering to this boundary ensures the stimulant is cleared from your system in time to protect your deep sleep architecture. At 9 p.m., begin your 3-2-1 wind-down. Transition to a cool room with dim lighting to support natural melatonin production and lower your resting heart rate. If you wake up at 3 a.m., do not check the time. That action stimulates the amygdala and delays your return to sleep. If you aren't asleep within 20 minutes, move to another room and read a physical book until you feel tired. This precise timeline synchronizes your hormones with your biological clock. It establishes the baseline required for glymphatic clearance, the essential process where your brain clears out metabolic waste overnight. Next, draw a 7-day calendar grid to map out the FACE protocol: flexibility, aerobic progression, carry a load, and equilibrium. Assign Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to carry a load. These are your strength days, focusing on compound movements like squats and deadlifts to stimulate muscle hypertrophy. These strength sessions are critical because they physically expand your body's glucose sink. By building functional muscle, you give excess blood sugar a place to go, which is the most direct way to combat insulin resistance. Use Tuesday for steady Zone 2 base cardio and Thursday for a high-intensity Norwegian 4x4 protocol. This combination improves mitochondrial density while reversing age-related cardiac stiffness. Map your weekend to agility and active recovery. Racket sports and long nature walks support your neuroplasticity and help regulate the parasympathetic nervous system. Following this kinetic rhythm provides the metabolic stress needed to rejuvenate muscle stem cells and restore your cardiovascular health. To support these changes, break your grocery shopping into 2 distinct weekly trips. This ensures you always have fresh produce and high microbiome diversity. Your weekend shop should focus on high-quality structural proteins, like grass-fed meats and sardines, alongside fermented foods like kefir and kimchi, to populate your gut with beneficial bacteria. Your midweek shop is for restocking perishables. The goal is to consume 30 distinct plant varieties per week to provide the diverse fibers and polyphenols your microbiome requires to function. Supplement this with a daily stack: creatine, omega-3s, and vitamin D3 with K2 in the morning to support ATP resynthesis and bone density, and magnesium in the evening for muscle relaxation. The core rule is to prioritize reducing insulin resistance. This means cutting processed sugars and liquid carbs rather than simply restricting calories while still eating foods that spike your glucose. This matrix of proteins and plant diversity supports the production of nitric oxide. This helps maintain the flexibility of your arteries and prevents the fat accumulation in the liver that drives metabolic decay. To ensure you actually follow this blueprint, you have to bypass the need for willpower. You do this by applying the 2-minute rule. Habit formation follows a 4-part loop. Make the cue obvious, the craving attractive, the response easy, and the reward satisfying. To make the response easy, scale any habit down to a version that takes 2 minutes or less. A full-strength workout begins with the 2-minute habit of putting on your shoes and stepping out the door. You should also adopt the mindset of being the butler for your future self through environmental design. Every night, lay out your exercise gear, your supplements, and your morning water. Removing these small points of friction eliminates the decision fatigue that usually leads to skipping a routine. By designing an environment where healthy choices are the path of least resistance, you build consistency. This makes your metabolic protocol feel like an automatic part of your day rather than a chore. Look at the paper you've just filled out. You now have a scientifically grounded daily and weekly operating system. These habits work by introducing mild environmental stressors, a concept called hormesis. This activates sirtuin enzymes and autophagy, the cellular cleaning process that clears away damaged proteins and restores the epigenetic backup copy of your genome. Consistent application of these circadian, kinetic, and nutritional steps protects your vascular health, which is the foundation of long-term cognitive sharpness and sexual function. Your first step happens tonight. Prepare your environment, set out your shoes, and commit to the morning light. The rate of your biological aging is not a fixed trajectory. Rewriting that code begins with tomorrow morning.